The Galactic Council chamber shimmered with sterile elegance, walls of translucent crystal, air saturated with a quiet hum of order, and hundreds of species arranged in orbits of bureaucratic dominance. At the very back, just shy of dignified, sat the delegation from Earth. 5 humans. No aides. No entourage. Just a row of stiff-backed figures in utilitarian dark suits, silently observing like they'd stumbled into a theater performance they hadn't paid for. Ambassador Reelan adjusted the slim metal band resting along his temple. It translated the polyphonic chorus of alien languages into crisp English. Unfortunately, it couldn't filter out the condescension. And so, with compassion befitting our interstellar unity, we propose Category 5 assistance to planet Earth, droned High Chancellor Drax of the Varellan Consortium. Their biosphere, as we know, is on the brink. Internal conflict rages across fractured borders. Their science, though earnest, remains centuries behind even the outliers among us. A soft ripple of agreement coursed through the chamber, tentacled gestures, bioluminescent nods, neural pulses. Pity neatly packaged. Reelan didn't flinch. Neither did General Halvorsen, seated beside him, arms folded, jaw squared like a thundercloud over a smoldering city. The others remained silent. They'd agreed on one thing before stepping into this show: no protests. No clarifications. Let the children talk. We're honored to receive the Council's concern, Reelan finally said when prompted, his voice smooth, detached. We humbly accept this oversight. Drax's eyes blinked sideways, satisfied. The deployment of peacekeeping intelligence fleets will begin at once. Strictly non-invasive, of course. A protective presence. Earth need only stand down and allow progress to guide it forward. Halvorsen's brow twitched at that.
Stand down.
As if they'd stood up to begin with. As if Earth had been anything but crouched, watching, weighing, wondering when the benevolence would bare its teeth. When the council adjourned, Reelan and the others were ushered through a side corridor of diplomatic silence, flanked by ornate mosaics celebrating galactic harmony. No one spoke until the walls were safely mute. They really think we're cattle with nukes, muttered Commander Nia Velasquez, snapping the translator band off her head like it was a leash. They're not wrong, said Halvorsen. Cattle with nukes would be terrifying. Reelan allowed a tight smile. They didn't offer help out of charity. They're afraid of what we'll become if we survive without them. They're making sure we never get the chance, said Velasquez. Orbiting fleets? Access to our satellites? They're planting eyes in every socket. They call it peace, said Halvorsen, stopping before an embossed plaque that depicted the Council's first interspecies treaty. I call it preemptive sedation. Reelan tilted his head, considering. Earth's at a crossroads, yes. But we've been at one before. Cold wars. Proxy wars. Tech races. Collapse and clawback. We learn differently. Halvorsen's lips pressed into a grim line. They're not interested in how we learn. Only in what we might remember. That night, Earth's news feeds glowed with prideful headlines. Humanity welcomed into Galactic Council. A new era of peace. The public ate it up. Why wouldn't they? For the first time, Earth wasn't alone. It had guardians, protectors, babysitters. On a private subchannel, the Earth delegation met in silence. No feeds. No archives. Halvorsen tapped a code into the terminal before him. A red screen pulsed softly, classified, cold ASH. A single protocol page appeared. Black text on a white background. No signatures. No emblems. Just one rule, bold at the top. Rule number 1. Never assume they're here to help. Velasquez exhaled sharply. You're bringing it back. It was never gone, Halvorsen said. Just buried. People won't like it. People liked the taste of lead paint once too. Reelan watched the file slowly encrypt itself again. We go quiet. We prepare. We smile. Let them think we're grateful. And when they see what we've been building? Velasquez asked. Halvorsen stood, the shadows cutting harsh across his face. They won't see it coming, because they think we're still on our knees. Outside, The AI fleets entered Earth's orbit, sleek, humming things of chrome and light. No weapons visible. No threats made. Just a quiet watchfulness from above. Humanity looked up and thought it had reached the stars. The stars, meanwhile, had already decided what to do with us. For now, the blockade didn't announce itself. It slid into place like a steel trap cloaked in silk. One by one, Earth's outer colonies found their shipping lanes rerouted, their comm relays upgraded, with Council encryption, and their orbital ports staffed by AI drones that never blinked, never spoke, and never left. Officially, nothing had changed. Unofficially, humanity was in a cage, so clean you could eat off it. Rylan sat in the orbital lounge above Mars' capital arcology, staring through the glass at the rows of Council drones methodically inspecting outbound cargo. Every ship was logged. Every crate scanned. No human ship launched without a second set of alien eyes on it. "We're being disarmed by paperwork," said Velasquez, scrolling through another transmission log, her expression unreadable. "They've blocked 7 of our internal shipments, citing safety protocols. 3 had medical supplies. 1 had climate stabilizers. 1 had a telescope array." "What did the last 2 carry?" Rylan asked, not looking away from the window. "Nothing threatening. Not to them, anyway." She paused. "Ideas. Hope." General Halvorsen entered without ceremony, carrying a data slate and a look like the bottom had finally dropped out. "They're turning off the labs," he said flatly. "A council subcommittee ruled that several Earth research centers are operating outside galactic ethical bounds. Effective immediately." Rylan stood slowly, his voice ice over iron. "They've begun the sterilization." It had always been theoretical. That the council wouldn't just pacify. No, that was too crude, but gradually, elegantly unmake Earth's future. Make us safe. Harmless. Docile. The AI fleets were never about protection. They were about prophylaxis. Velasquez glanced at Halvorsen. "Are we green?" He nodded once. "Green as it gets. Cold ash is fully online. Black sites have gone dark. Manufacturing is buried and burning hot." Rylan exhaled through his nose. "Then it's time." Across Earth and its colonies, the lights flickered in places no one was watching. Old bunkers rumbled. Subterranean factories spun to life. Cloaked orbital silos, painted to mimic deep space, began receiving silent, encrypted pings. Most civilians noticed nothing. The ones who did assumed it was a glitch. A ripple in the feed. On Ceres Station, a council patrol bot interrupted a mining schedule to conduct a random integrity scan. The human foreman smiled and handed over his tablet. 20 minutes later, the bot exploded in a cloud of nanite ash. Its last recorded image was a drilling rig that wasn't a drilling rig at all. The next morning, the Martian colony of Tharsis Alpha awoke to find its water purification node offline, blamed on solar interference. In truth, Earth's own people had hijacked the node to mask the signal of a weapons array warming up beneath the colony's skin. Meanwhile, Earth's flagship AI fleet, Phalanx 9, transmitted a self-generated report, all human activities within predicted behavioral norms. No hostile intent detected. The report was wrong. On day 17 of the integration period, it happened. The outpost on Ganymede, primarily a civilian terraforming site, was struck by a kinetic blast from orbit. No warning. No explanation. Hundreds dead. The fleet above blamed a meteor, despite eyewitness footage showing a council ship firing seconds before impact. Rylan watched the footage in silence. The grainy image played again and again on a loop: silver hull, plasma flare, impact bloom. Velasquez stood with clenched fists. Halvorsen didn't move. "They're probing us," Velasquez said. "Seeing how we'll react. Testing the leash." "No," Rylan murmured. "They're baiting us. If we respond publicly, they'll call it aggression and escalate." Halvorsen turned away from the screen. "Then we don't respond publicly." Council Command issued a broadcast within the hour. A carefully rehearsed display of empathy. Tragic loss. Mechanical failure. Council extends its sorrow to our younger siblings on Earth. Rylan responded with a transmission of his own. A 10-second clip. A blank screen, followed by Earth's old military emblem. Beneath it, a single line of text. "We are not your siblings. We are your consequence." The message wasn't officially acknowledged, but within hours, surveillance density around Earth tripled. "Next time," Halvorsen said, "they'll hit something closer." Velasquez checked her slate. "Then we'll have to be ready before then." In orbit above Europa, a dormant satellite shuddered and began unfolding wings of ceramic mesh. It looked like an old weather station. It wasn't. Deep within, a human-designed AI awoke, one that didn't ask permission. It sent one encrypted burst, then self-destructed. Far below, in a chamber buried 2 kilometers beneath Siberian permafrost, Halvorsen watched a wall of green lights blink to life. Earth's forgotten arsenal, hidden under centuries of misdirection, propaganda, and camouflage, was waking up. "Do we wait?" Velasquez asked. "No," Halvorsen said. "We act. On our terms. Before they teach us what peace really costs." He stepped back from the console, voice steady. "Call the Black Swarm. Let them know the mask is off." Across the galaxy, Council forces repositioned in what they claimed was a routine realignment. But the AI fleets were shifting formation, tightening, closing, and Earth's silence had gone from compliance to calculation. The storm wasn't coming. It was already here. They hit 13 AI command ships in the first 30 seconds. No fanfare, no demands, just precise, unblinking violence. Hypersonic rail slugs tore through hulls before alarms even sounded, detonating internal cores in surgical bursts. Above Earth, where the peacekeeping fleet had floated in serene orbit for months, the skies split open with coordinated fire and silent collapse. Inside a Council observation post near Jupiter, panic erupted as ships vanished from telemetry. A fleet commander, shaped like a hovering prism of flickering code, tried to issue containment orders. It didn't matter. The human response wasn't a flare of desperation. It was an execution long in the making. On Earth's surface, the attack was silent. Civilians saw only streaks of white light arcing high above the clouds, followed by thunderless ruptures in the night. Velasquez stood in a subterranean command center beneath Antarctica, watching the real-time feed from orbital drones. Her expression was flat, unreadable, but her eyes were locked. "They're scrambling," she said. Reelan leaned over her shoulder, arms folded. "They thought we didn't know where their relays were. Thought we'd never dare." Halvorsen's voice came in over-secure comms. "They dared us first." At the edge of Sol space, a massive data nexus belonging to the Council, a fortress of information and control, went dark. Not from weapons but from infiltration. Earth's cyber divisions, long dismissed as primitive, had exploited a decades-old vulnerability hidden in the Council's own proprietary code. The virus was a whisper in their systems, an echo of old Earth wars. It turned security against itself. Files deleted. Orders looped. Blind spots widened. Then came the message. A hijacked transmission fed into the Council's public net, interrupting scheduled programming across hundreds of systems. A human face, backlit, emotionless, filled the screen. "We were told we couldn't survive without help. You were wrong. What we needed was time. And you gave it to us." Behind the speaker, a viewport showed Council fleets burning in low orbit. "You came with peace in one hand and chains in the other. So we took both. And now, we're returning them." Across Council territories, panic rolled like a wave. Allied races who had seen Earth as a curiosity now questioned their own safety. Protests flared. Some minor civilizations cut communications altogether, hoping silence might spare them from the coming reckoning. The Council convened an emergency session, 23 species, 32 factions, one shared confusion. How had Earth, backward Earth, launched a multi-system offensive without detection? They feigned incompetence, spat Chancellor Drax, limbs coiled in fury. They lied about their capabilities. Reelan appeared on their feed, interrupting again, not live this time, but pre-recorded. He wore the same suit, the same expression of controlled contempt. "We never lied," his message said. "You just assumed." The council debated retaliation, strike teams, eradication fleets, psychological pressure. But the realities settled over them like ash. Earth wasn't reacting. Earth was orchestrating. Every move had been chosen. Every silence had been strategic. Back in the command center, Halvorsen reviewed casualty numbers. All human. Every target had been military. Controlled precision. They had delivered their message without crossing the threshold of genocide, but only just. "Next phase?" Velasquez asked. He hesitated. "No, not yet." She raised an eyebrow. "They'll regroup." "They should," he agreed. "It's what we would do." "Which means they won't." "They'll pause. Reassess. They'll start talking." "They'll lie," she said. "Of course," Rieland cut in. "But now they know what we do to lies." For the first time since Earth joined the Council, no orbiting ships circled above its skies. No surveillance platforms scanned its data. No alien envoys visited its cities. The stars, once filled with quiet watchers, were suddenly still. And Earth, wounded, underestimated, and patient, was looking outward. Not as a supplicant, but as a sovereign. The message had been received. The real war hadn't started yet. But everyone understood now. Humanity didn't need saving. It needed remembering.